So former Governor Bob McDonnell and his wife Maureen McDonnell were charged on Tuesday of corruption by a federal court. Now, there's actually a broad array of charges that are being brought against them, including wire fraud, bribery, lying to federal investigators. Overall, there are about 14 different charges, all with penalties that are pretty severe. And, of course, these were brought by a federal court. Now, according to the LA Times, the McDonnells apparently allegedly had taken an estimated $120,000 to $165,000 in undocumented loans and gifts from the now former CEO of a cigarette-turned-dietary supplement company called Star Scientific. Now, Star Scientific received, of course, a little bit of promotion in trying to promote one of their drugs. Now, I'll get into that later, what the drug is and what the McDonnells actually did. But first, I want to dig into that number of what the McDonnells actually received from Star Scientific, from the CEO. Now, Maureen McDonnell actually received some help paying for some nice vacations. Well, isn't that nice? As well as using Star Scientific CEO Johnny Williams' multi-million-dollar mansion to go on vacation, to take her family on vacation. Oh, that's great. There was also a $15,000 loan for their daughter's wedding to help cater for it. Dresses and clothes from places like Louis Vuitton and Oscar de la Renta. Two places that I'm not entirely familiar with because I'm not filthy stinking rich. And not only that, but Williams also helped the McDonnells out with some of their financial issues, as well as actually being a political donor to Bob McDonnell's gubernatorial campaign. Wow. Now, in 2009, before Bob McDonnell's inauguration, Maureen wrote to a senior staffer. She wrote, quote, "I need answers, and Bob is screaming about the thousands I'm charging up in credit card debt. We are broke. Have an unconscionable amount in credit card debt already, and this inaugural is killing us." And so here comes Williams to the rescue with a new dress she can wear to her inauguration and thousands of dollars that that was worth the thousands of dollars that she could wear. Well, but it's not just Maureen that receives gifts. No, Governor McDonnell actually received an engraved Rolex with the words Virginia's 71st governor. And, not to mention, use of their Williams corporate jet and personal Ferrari that was flown out to them when they vacationed at this guy's multi-million-dollar home. Wow. Not only that, but one of the charges, of course, brought against the McDonnells is insider trading. According to the Associated Press, in February 2012, the McDonnells discussed transferring 50,000 shares of Star Scientific stock that they could use as collateral for a loan in their failing real estate business. You see, they owned a couple of beach houses on the side, and they wanted to rent it out to basically people who wanted to live there or rent there for a while. Wasn't exactly going very well for the McDonnells, and they were losing money. Now, of course, that looked a little suspicious, that $50,000 in stock. So William instead loaned the McDonnells $50,000 instead of that much worth in stock. Now, the AP also mentions that, quote, to avoid raising suspicion that Williams was loaning them money, he told his assistant to void a check that listed Maureen McDonnell in the memo line and to write a new check. So they knew this wouldn't look good, but they went ahead with it anyway. Why was this Williams guy so invested in helping Maureen and Bob McDonnell? Couldn't be that they were just friends and just looking out for each other, right? I'll get into that. Now, first I want to get into the business Star Scientific itself. Now, you'd think in order to be able to give all these kinds of gifts and things, this company, Star Scientific, had to be doing pretty well, right? I mean, the guy had a private jet, a $200,000 Ferrari, a yacht, multi-million-dollar mansion that he could rent out. I mean, there's all this money that he could loan out to the McDonald's in gifts and things. You would think that they were doing pretty well, right? Well, it turns out Star Scientific was losing money. They hadn't been profitable in over 10 years, almost a decade. And former CEO Johnny Williams had actually been doing all this because he says that he was looking to the governor's office for a little bit of PR to push his new product. Now, they got the governor and his wife to promote their new product. And this was a product called Anadablock. It's supposed to be this revolutionary anti-inflammatory drug that was going to save their business. Well, it turns out that it wasn't FDA approved and they had actually been previously warned by the FDA that it was unlawfully selling this product without FDA approval. That didn't stop the McDonald's from introducing this product to doctors and university staff. Now, they were actually really looking at trying to get universities to fund more studies into Anadablock so that they were able to sell it. And that's where the McDonald's came in. The McDonald's actually did a lot of basically presentations of Anadablock in their mansion, in the governor's mansion, to state officials. Maureen McDonnell actually attended events specifically to promote Anadablock in Richmond, Michigan, and Florida. Now, she spoke on behalf of the of Star to doctors and investors about this, and the indictment shows that she had actually gone in her husband's place. Now, it's obvious going through the indictment that there were some really shady things going on when it comes to this. Now, there was an email exchange in February 2012 where Maureen emailed an aide in order to speed up the process of getting a university to try and fund the Anadablock pill. Since, of course, the Tobacco Commission didn't accept applications from for-profit businesses. Okay? So this email had said, I'm just trying to talk with JW. That was their nickname for Johnny Williams. Gov wants to get this going with VCU and MCV. I assume those are colleges. Now, 8 days later, the governor's office emailed that same staffer and said, please see me about Anadablock issues at VCU and UVA. Thanks. Staffer wrote back, will do. We need to be careful about this issue. Now, Maureen McDonnell, she also allegedly told her stockbroker that she needed to avoid publicly owning stock in the company. So she sold her shares and then bought them back to avoid the disclosure laws. But of course, the governor, his wife, and their lawyers admit that they haven't done anything wrong. And the governor says he gave everything back, paid back the loans with interest, and he apologized. Well, that makes it all better. And he also points out that Star Scientific didn't actually get any state grants, contracts, or economic incentives from this. And guess what? He blames this federal probe, federal indictment, on government overreach. The government's coming after me. The federal government doesn't like me. They're coming after me. I don't know why. I didn't do anything wrong. They said, quote, the federal government's case rests on an entirely misguided legal theory that facilitating an introduction or meeting, appearing at a reception, or expressing support for a Virginia business is a serious federal crime if it involves a political donor or someone who gave a gift. Yeah, it kind of is. If you didn't do anything illegal, Bob, why apologize, for one? Why hide the fact that you own stock or your wife owns stock in the company? Why promise to help the company if they actually give you a loan, as Maureen McDonnell had done? Remember, the McDonald's were in a financial crunch because renting out their properties couldn't pay the bills. Well, that was what one of those loans was for, to help them out. Don't worry, you help us out, we'll help you out. We'll get your product out there. That Anata block, we're going to try and push it. We're going to push it. We're going to see if we can get you some backers. See if you can get, some universities to fund the study. That seems like quid pro quo to me, although I'm not a lawyer or a judge. And so it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this case goes forward. Now, they face, like I said, 14 different counts of 14 different charges. Sorry. And a lot of these are about 12 of these actually entail 20 years in prison each, for each count. And 2 of those have counts up to 30 years in prison. Fines for each of those could be somewhere between $250,000 to $1 million each. So they're facing some really, really serious charges. Now, I doubt even if they're found guilty on these charges that they're going to get anywhere close to that. I mean, you know how our justice system works. If you've been paying attention, you know that, the richer you are, the more powerful you are, the less of a sentence you're going to get. Nonetheless, we'll see if the government can bring enough evidence of corruption and bribery and all these things at the feet of the McDonnells. It should be quite an interesting next few months, next few years, however long it takes, and we'll definitely be following this story.